All right, so we're back to factoring quadratic trinomials, but with an extra step today. Do you guys remember the previous test where you had to factor out the GCF? Well, it's back. That's the only addition that we're doing to this particular unit. There's going to be there's going to be one more thing after this. But the main thing that people struggle with is they forget how to factor out the GCF. You should be asking yourself, can I divide a whole number from all the terms in the polynomial? And then when you're done with that, can I break it up even more by figuring out what multiplies to C and adds to B? Okay, so step one, factor out the GCF. Hint, it's always going to be the number in front of x squared. Okay, just to let you know, for this unit, I'm not here to trick you. So let's get to step one, factor out the GCF. Step two, can I find the whole numbers that multiply to C and add to B? So let's do number one together. So first things first, before we factor, can I take something out from 2x squared, 16x, and 30? Yeah, I'm going to divide all of them, equals. I'm going to divide all of them by 2 because the greatest common factor out of 2, 16, and 30 is 2. And we've got an x squared, we've got an x, we don't have an x here, so we can't divide a 2x. Now then, if I take out a 2, 2 times what is 2x squared? X squared. 2 times what is positive 16x? 2 times 8x is positive 16x. 2 times what is positive 30? 2 times positive 15 is positive 30. But the directions say factor completely. Can I factor this even more, the x squared plus 8x plus 15? Yes. So I make my little table on the side. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to C and add to B. So two numbers that multiply to positive 15 and add to positive 8. So what can I conclude? It multiplies to a positive, so it has to be a positive positive or a negative negative combination. But since it adds to a positive as well, it has to be a positive positive combination. So let's get right to the table. Positive 1, positive 15. 1 times 15 is 15. 1 plus 15 is 16, so that's not going to work. 15 divided by 2 is going to be a decimal, so that we don't even care about that. But 3 goes into 15 5 times. So let's try 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 plus 5 is 8. We have a winner. So 3 and 5 are the winning team. So now, don't forget about the 2 that I factored out. Because now, the winning team is positive 3, positive 5. Therefore, x squared plus 8x plus 15 can be broken down into x plus 3, x plus 5. So if I want this whole thing put back together, back to 2x squared plus 16x plus 30, I can break this down into the multiplication problem. 2 times the quantity of x plus 3 times the quantity of x plus 5. Okay? See if we can do these problems. All right? So number 2. I know I wrote that 84 a little bit weird, but trust me, that's an 84. 3x squared minus 33x plus 84. Can I divide something from all 3 terms? Yes, I can divide all 3 of those terms by 3. So I'm going to factor out the GCF 3. So now 3 times what is 3x squared? X squared. 3 times what is negative 33x? Negative 11x. 84 divided by 3. 3 times what is 84? positive 28. But the directions say factor completely. Can I factor x squared minus 11x plus 28? Yes. So I go to that table. Remember, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to positive 28 and add to negative 11. So let me just cover up the right column. Two numbers multiply to positive 28. So is that combination positive positive or negative negative? So negative times negative is positive. Negative plus negative makes more negative. So the combination needs to be negative negative. Let's make that table and let's get that winning pair. Negative 1, negative 28. Negative 1 times negative 28 is 28. Negative 1 plus negative 28 is negative 29. That doesn't work. Let's try 2. Can I divide by 2? Yeah. Negative 2, negative 14. Negative 2 times negative 14 is positive 28. Negative 2 plus negative 14 is negative 16. That doesn't work. Let me try 28 divided by 3. Decimal. All right, let me try 28 divided by 4. All right. Negative 4, negative 7. Negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. Negative 4 plus negative 7 is negative 11. We've got a winner. So the winning combination is negative 4, negative 7. Don't forget about the 3 that I factored out. And now, how do we factor x squared minus 11x plus 28? Well, if the winning team is negative 4, negative 7, then we can factor this into x minus 4, x minus 7. Okay? See if you can do these two problems independently by pausing the screen. Factor completely. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at number 3. 5x squared plus 50x plus 105. I'm going to divide all 3 by the GCF 5. 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times what is 50x? 10x, positive 10x. 5 times what is 105? So 105 divided by 5 would be positive 21. Factor completely. Can I factor this part now? Yeah. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to positive 21 and add to positive 10. So it has to be a positive times positive. A positive times positive makes a positive, and two positives added together make another positive. So let's start with 1 and 21. 1 times 21 is 21, but 1 plus 21 is 22. Divided by 2, because it's an odd number, will give us a decimal, so we don't count it. Let's try divide by 3. Yeah, positive 3 times positive 7 is 21. Positive 3 plus 7 is going to be 10, so we have a winner. So now we've got 5, and if positive 3, positive 7 is the winning team, that means that x squared plus 10x plus 21 can be broken down into x plus 3 times x plus 7. Don't forget about the GCF that we factored out. All right, number 4. Well, is there a GCF I can factor from all 3 of these? Yes. So I'm going to factor out the 7. And now I've got 7 times x squared is 7x squared. Negative 63x divided by 7. So 7 times what is negative 63x? Negative 9x. 7 times what is positive 56? Positive 8. Can I factor this even further? Yes. So I'm going to look for two numbers that multiply to positive 8 and add to negative 9. Two numbers that multiply to make a positive mean it's either positive positive or negative negative. But since they add to a negative, it has to be negative negative. So let's start with negative 1, negative 8. Negative 1 times negative 8 is positive 8, but negative 1 plus negative 8 is going to be negative. Oh, we have a winner on the first try. Oh, did not see that coming. So we're going to bring out the factored out 7. Since the winning team is negative 1, negative 8, this becomes x minus 1, x minus 8. Okay. Number 5. 4x squared plus 8x minus 60. So this is a little bit of a different case. But the same steps. Can I factor something from all three of these terms? Yes. All three of these can be factored out with a 4. And that's always going to be the case, and for this upcoming test. Not this week. Not this week. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But please keep these skills strong, because this is my favorite thing to teach, and it is the most important topic that will get you through high school math and that college diploma if you take calculus. So I'm going to factor out the 4. 4 times what is 4x squared? X squared. 4 times what is positive 8x? Positive 2x. 4 times what is negative 60? That'd be negative 15. So now I've got a different case because I need to factor this completely. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 15 and add to 2. So I'm going to cover up the right column. In order to get two numbers that multiply to negative 15, I need to have one positive and one negative, so one of each. Okay? But the question then becomes, which number is going to be bigger, the positive or the negative? So it's going to be a weak negative and a strong positive. So let me write down negative 1 and positive 15. Negative 1 times positive 15 is negative 15. Negative 1 plus 15 is positive 14. That's not what I want. Negative 15 divided by 2, it's going to be a decimal. Let me try 3. Remember, it's going to be negative 3 and positive 5. Negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. Negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2. Note that it can't be positive 3 and negative 5, because positive 3 and negative 5 would make negative 2. Pay attention to the sign that adds, okay? So the winning team is negative 3, positive 5. Therefore, I'm going to factor this whole thing into factored out 4, x minus 3, x plus 5. Okay? We're going to do 6, 7, and 8, and we'll call it a day. Okay? 5x squared minus 35x minus 90. Okay? So I'm going to factor out the 5. 5 times what is 5x squared? X squared. 5 times what is negative 35x? Negative 7x. 5 times what is negative 90? Negative 18. Now I want to factor this quadratic trinomial by figuring out what two numbers multiply to negative 18 and add to negative 7. So if I cover up the right column, I need to figure out two numbers that multiply to negative 18. So it has to be a positive-negative combination, because a positive times a negative makes a negative. Well, now I'm going to uncover the right column to ask myself, well, which digit is going to be bigger, the positive or the negative? Right, it's going to be positive times negative, but the negative is going to be stronger. So let's make a table of weak positives and strong negatives. 1 times negative 18. 1 times negative 18 is negative 18, but 1 plus negative 18 is negative 17. Okay. Well, can I divide by 2? Yeah. 2 times negative 9. 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. 2 plus negative 9, oh, we win. It's going to be negative 7. So that's going to work. And we didn't even have to get to 3 times negative 6, because that would add up to negative 3. So 2 times negative 9 is the winning combination. So I pull out my factored out 5. So I get x plus 2 times x minus 9. So, yeah, x plus 2 and x minus 9, yep. And that's my winning combination. Positive 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. And that adds to negative 7, yeah. 2 more and we'll call it a day. Okay, so let's take a look at 7 and 8. Let's take a look at 7. 3x squared plus 3x minus 126. Well, can I factor something from all 3 of these terms? I'm going to factor out the 3. 3 times what is 3x squared? X squared. 3 times what is positive 3x? Well, positive 1x or positive x, whichever you prefer. 3 times what is negative 126? So that'll be negative 126 divided by 3. That'd be negative 42. I'm going to try to factor this. I'm going to try to factor this quadratic trinomial. So I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to negative 42 and add to positive 1. Sorry, my notebook is falling. Let me straighten it out a little bit. There we go. Oh, it's falling again. There we go. Flatten it out. So now, how do I find out this combination? So I'm going to cover up this right column. 2 numbers that multiply to make negative means it needs to be a positive times a negative. But if it adds to positive 1, what information does that tell me about the positive-negative combination? The positive is just barely stronger. So it's going to be a combination of a weak negative and a strong positive. So let's get right to it. Negative 1, positive 42. Well, those multiply to make negative 42, but they add together to form positive 41. Let me try dividing by 2. Yeah, I can. Negative 2 and 21. Negative 2 times 21 is negative 42, but negative 2 plus 21 is positive 19. See how much closer we got to positive 1? Let's try negative 3 and 14. Negative 3 times 14 is negative 42, but negative 3 plus 14 is positive 11. Okay. Can I divide 42 by 4? No, it's going to be a decimal. I think it's negative 10.5, negative 10.5. Can I divide negative 42 by 5? Yeah, you'll get a decimal. You'll get negative 8.4, I believe. Can I divide by 6? Yes. Let's try negative 6 and positive 7. Negative 6 times 7 is negative 42, but negative 6 plus 7 is positive 1. We win. So remember, we factored out the 3. Don't forget about the factored out 3. And now the winning team was negative 6, positive 7. So this has to be x minus 6, x plus 7 in order for this to be completely factored. Okay. Now, last problem of the day, 12x squared minus 12x minus 360. What can I factor from all 3 of these terms? I'm going to factor out the 12. 12 times what is 12x squared? Twelve times what is negative 12x? Negative 1x. And 12 times what is negative 360? Negative 30. And now we need to factor this quadratic trinomial. So we need to figure out what two numbers multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 1. Okay, so I'm going to cover up the right column. How do I multiply to get negative 30? Has to be a positive times a negative. So if it's a positive times a negative, what does adding to negative 1 tell me? The negative has to be a little bit stronger. So the combination is going to be a weak positive and a strong negative. So let's get right to it. 1 and negative 30. 1 times negative 30 is negative 30, but 1 plus negative 30 is negative 29. Let's try 2. 2 times negative 15 is negative 30, but 2 plus negative 15 is negative 13. Okay, let's try 3. 3 times negative 10. 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. 3 plus negative 10 is negative 7. But notice we're getting closer to negative 1. Can I divide by 4? No. Can I divide by 5? Yeah. 5 and negative 6. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. But 5 plus negative 6 is negative 1. We have a winner. So let's factor the 12 out in front. And the winning combination was positive 5, negative 6. So x squared minus 1x minus 30 becomes x plus 5, x minus 6. Okay, have a great day. We'll have one more of these on Thursday, but I need these skills to be strong. So please practice this.